Well, hello! I have been having so much fun lately, and not just because I've been away in Las Vegas, but because I've had some adventures. And the adventure, it's turning into this thing of Conway Car Story. Someone had asked if it was okay if she shared the Conway Car Story as a speaker at a seminar, and we actually had to pause and say, well, which one do you mean? So, I went to Las Vegas in 2017, and I went back to Las Vegas in 2018. Some of you have heard the Conway Car Story from 2017. That's when I was in Las Vegas, and someone crashed the car into my business. They completely destroyed my storefront. They wiped out my parent lounge. They wiped out my kid lounge. They destroyed my pro shop. And so for a while, that was the Conway Car Story. Well, now we have another Conway Car Story because I went back to Las Vegas in 2018 and we had another car adventure. And I'm going to kind of unpack bits of the story, but the main point of the story is the lessons that it illustrates. But first the story, a little bit of what happened. So, get in the car, head off to Las Vegas. Alright, that sounds normal enough, right? We have a convention that starts on Sunday, and we're going to be there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for seminars all day Monday and Tuesday. Normal sort of setup, right? So I go pick up my friends, who also happen to be my top dojo leaders, and we head up to San Marcos for a while. And we're there because there's a mini microbrewery that's naming a beer off of one of my surf champion friends, Joshua, who is a member of the USA Adaptive Surf Team. And so we go spend some time there, so we're kind of off on this interesting level of time. And then we continue on from there, and we're heading off to Las Vegas. Now, another couple who are dojo leaders on what we call the other side of the dojo, because we have the guardian side and we have the dark side, and they're from the dark side, they head out hours later, and they go off and they visit some family along the way. And as we're working our way up 15, right around Barstow, they happen to see us, and so they're behind us a little bit. And by the time we make it to Baker, we're literally driving right behind each other. So I'm going up this hill out of Baker, about 20 miles outside of Baker. If you want to find it on a map, we're heading toward Las Vegas from Baker. We pass Halloran Springs. The next off-ramp is going to be Halloran Summit. And the car dies. I'm working my way up the hill. This truck pulls out in front. I have to slow way down. As the truck pulls back off to the side, I go to pick up speed again, and the car won't pick up speed. And so I kind of move over to the slower lanes, and then I'm going 45, then I'm going 35, and then all of a sudden, it starts to really heat up. I go, whoa, better pull over now. So now plan A was really simple, just drive to Las Vegas. Now I'm suddenly at plan B. I'm pulled over on the side, the other couple's pulled in behind me, and now we're letting the car cool down. And plan B is to let the car cool down, put some more water in it, and then go, with the understanding that the car is really not liking this uphill. And that, we'll be gentle about it and kind of understand it might only want to go up over the hill at 30 or 40 miles per hour, and that would be okay. And so we did that. And then we got the car started, and we started moving forward again, and it didn't want to do 40 or 50 miles per hour. It didn't want to do 30 miles per hour. It kind of like topped out at 25. And it did that for a little while, and then suddenly it starts losing power again, even at that level, and starts to overheat again. So now we're on plan C. Where we pull over to the side, the other vehicle goes up ahead to find some coolant and get some more water, and we're going to refill the coolant tank. The car doesn't want to turn over, so we figure, okay, we'll refill the coolant tank with actual coolant. We'll jump start the car, and then we'll go. That's plan C. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Well, then that ends up not working. We refill all the tank with actual coolant. Won't start. Try to jump start the car. Won't jump. There's some damage to the cables. We thought the damage was mostly just cosmetic, but it's not jumping. So then, okay. Now we're going to be kind of stuck. So I call roadside assistance, which turns into an adventure by itself because they have the hardest time finding me because their software goes on addresses and cross streets. Well, I have a mile marker The local tow truck driver later would know exactly where I am because he knows where his mile markers are. But I'm on the phone with a call center, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what is the nearest ramp we can find on the call center map, which turned out was like 4 miles away. And because of the way the communication worked between the call center and the tow truck driver ended up 4 miles away from me, trying to figure out where I was. And so then we're on the phone and we're sorting it out, and eventually we're working Plan D here. So Plan D was to send the lawyers and the Atchisons ahead. So the lawyers are my friends, and they were in my vehicle. And we had the seeing eye dog for Joshua, and we had a 3-year-old in the other car with the Atchisons. And so we kind of consolidated into one vehicle, sent them on ahead. I called the resort. I set up Andrea to be able to check everyone in because she has a card from the dojo. So she could give them a dojo card so that I'm covering the security deposit, and she can get everybody checked in. And so make those calls, get that set up, off they go. I wait for the tow truck. So tow truck shows up. We try to jump start with the tow truck jump and find, okay, no, that's still not working. So we get the car up on the tow truck and we head off. Now, roadside assistance will pay for the tow as far as either Prim going forward or Baker going backwards. It's going to cost me $200 to get further ahead. Well, my business coach and friend, Virginia, likes to say, if you can write a check, it's not a problem. Like, well, I needed my car in Las Vegas. If I'm going to get it fixed while I'm in Las Vegas, that only makes a difference if I can get it to Las Vegas. So I just said, all right, I'm going to pay the extra $200. I'm going to have them tow it all the way to Las Vegas. Well, on the way there, the tow truck needs this thing called a reset. And we end up stopping in Prim. Now, it's supposed to take 15 or 20 minutes. But an hour later, we're still doing the reset. So long as I was in Prim anyway, and the tow truck's basically stuck in Prim, you know, I had a chance to have some dinner, get some water, go to the bathroom. You know, we're hanging out in a place, and so we took care of the place stuff. But the tow truck wouldn't finish the reset process. And at one point, we decided, okay, this is getting ridiculous. We've been here for over an hour. And so the tow truck driver decides to try to make it to Vegas without the reset process being complete. So we're off to Plan F, get the car towed to the dealership, catch an Uber to the condo from the dealership, and get all the stuff there. Well, we ended up with, you know, being stuck in Prim for a while, but then we go on, and as we're getting to Las Vegas, the tow truck is stalling out because that reset process is really kind of necessary, and the tow truck has been running almost solid 48 hours without going through this process, which is kind of necessary for the tow truck to be able to continue to function. And so the tow truck starts dying, and it will only go a little bit at a time. So then we're on to Plan G. Drop the car off in a parking lot and set up delivery for another tow truck driver, maybe the same one later on Monday, to come pick up the car and take it to the dealership on Monday. And then I'm getting an Uber to the condo from a parking lot. So this whole process continues to Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, Plan E, Plan F, Plan G. And I'm finally at Plan G. I have made it to Las Vegas. At Plan G, I finally have my stuff in Las Vegas. I have the lawyer stuff in Las Vegas. We've got groceries being stocked up for the condos. Wasn't exactly the starting plan. And this is just to get there. So, of course, the car at this point is still dead. It's in a parking lot a few miles away from the condo, about 5 miles away from the dealership. And it's after midnight, and we have a convention that's starting later that same day, because now it's Sunday, wee hours of Sunday. And I have choices I have to make. So here's some of the lessons we have going into this process so far. A big one is this thing that I call Conway luck. So Conway luck showed up here big time. Now some people will go like, whoa, now wait a second. Your car died. How is that possibly lucky? Well, first off, if the car was going to die, if an angel of the Lord appeared to me and said, Scott, here's the deal. Your car is going to die. That old engine is going to have a struggle going up the hill, and it's going to die. Now, we got a couple of hill options for you. One of the things is it could kind of die when you're in San Diego County, kind of working out that, the long hill, going up past Fallbrook before you drop down into Temecula. We could have it die there. We could have it die at the Cajon Pass, because that's a really long, really challenging uphill. Or we could let you get all the way past Barstow, all the way past Baker, within reach of Las Vegas, and we could have it die on the last big, long uphill between Baker and Primm. So of those three, which one would you most prefer? Says, well, if those are my three choices, I'll take that last one, because then I'm at least within striking distance of Las Vegas. I'll be able to get my car to Las Vegas, which means I can get all the stuff loaded up in the car to Las Vegas. But it's even bigger than that, because one of the default plans at the Plan A level as far as vehicles went is I would drive to Las Vegas, we'd be there for the week, and then I was going to send the lawyers home in my car. Well, what if we have the car die, but now it dies on the big uphill between Primm and Baker going the other way? And they end up left with exactly the same problem I had, but without the same resources. So if that angel of the Lord showed up and said, okay, well, here's another option for you. It doesn't even have to happen to you. We can have it happen to them instead. And then you don't have to deal with it. It's going to be theirs to deal with. Would you rather it happen to you, or would you rather it happen to them? I said, well, me, of course. I don't want that to happen to them. I don't want them sitting in the middle of the desert in 110-degree heat with a dog in a dead car. That'd be crazy. I don't want that for them. They're my friends. I love them. They're my leaders in the dojo. So part of it, there's a leader mandate here. And I want to be in service to them. Of course, don't have it happen to them. Have it happen to me. So we have all kinds of layers of Conway luck. Of the three places it could have happened, the most likely one was probably that Cajon Pass, because that is a tough uphill. The second most likely place it would happen is where it happened. So you put those pieces together already, that's pretty lucky. But there's even more Conway luck going on here. Because we left early in the morning and we stopped at the brewery in San Marcos. And then we get on the road and we're heading off to Vegas. The Atchisons had to teach their economic development ministry courses in the morning. And so they left hours after me. And then they went to go see family somewhere off, I think, in the Barstow area. And it just so happened that as they were getting on the freeway, they saw my car go past, which they could identify because I had a GQ sticker in the back with a GQ Dojo. And so you go, oh, wait, that looks like, oh, no, that is the car. And so between Barstow and Baker, they eventually ended up right behind me. So when this happened, they're right behind us. So as I had to pull off, they pull off right behind us. And so when we needed to run Plan C, they ran up ahead and circled back around, and we ran Plan C. When it was time to run Plan D and take the lawyers all the way to Las Vegas, they were there. Now think about, what are the odds? We left hours apart. We had different destinations. We didn't coordinate meeting up on the highway. We just met up on the highway. So if, again, that angel of God showed up and said, okay, now, so long as you're willing to accept this will happen to you, and we have it all set up for this uphill between Baker and Primm, would you like some help? So, oh yeah, I'd love some help. Is there a way we could coordinate having the other car nearby? I know we're not leaving anywhere near the same time. I know we're off to go do completely separate things. But if they could be there, that would be really, really helpful. And we ended up, the random timing of the meeting, so that I have the other vehicle right behind me. The people who can help are literally right behind me. And they see we have the trouble. We don't need to call them and ask them to come back. We don't have to call them to find out where they are and see if they can locate us. They're already there. Conway luck. It figures. That's just the way things work. Just my luck. So that's just the way life works in my world. So we have all of these pieces coming together, and even more Conway luck, as if that's not lucky enough as it is. There's a problem. I send people ahead. They're guests. They're not the owners at the resort. They're the guests. So I need to get the registration retooled so that they can check in when they get there. Well, just so happens I can do that. And so I'm able to get on the phone, call them ahead, which you couldn't do before the cell phone days, to get that restructured so they can check in. Well, when you check in, you have to give a deposit as a security deposit, and they're going to take, you know, so many dollars off of a credit card, a debit card, or something to hold space, just in case. And it just so happened, Conway luck again, that because of the work that Andrea has been doing with me at the dojo so she could make deposits and go make some supply runs, she has a copy of 2 different dojo cards, which she happened to have with her. Of course, it figures. It's just the way things work. Should have known, right? Of course, because that's just the way life works. And so we got the names changed. They knew who was coming. She had the cards so she could put the cards down. She could get me checked in on my room so that when I show up, all of that's done already. And all I have to do is walk in, either meet up with her to get a copy of my room key, or, as I ended up doing because of the time I finally showed up, just walk up to the front desk, tell them who I was, show them my ID. They say, oh, yes, sir, we already have you completely checked in. And they made me more copies of my room key, and I could head upstairs with my stuff. Conway luck. Showing up big time. Again, think of all of those pieces that had to be together just so for all of this to happen. So I'm thinking this is pretty cool already. And we're on Plan G, and then we go attend the seminars. Now, a few points in here. So what am I doing along the way? Well, one of the principles, and this was another coincidence, I had been teaching on the simple idea, define the problem, solve the problem. Because there's a problem. Plan A was just drive to Las Vegas. Now we have car dead on the side of the road. Well, Plan A didn't work. So now the next question is, so what's the problem? Car dead, side of the road. Okay, solve the problem. And as we work out the problem, all right, it's overheating, so we'll let it cool down. And some of the fluid is spraying out, so if we put more water in it, maybe we can nurse it up and over the hill. Then, nope, that didn't work. It's overheating again. Maybe we need actual coolant. The vehicle goes and gets actual coolant, and still doesn't start. Now we have a different level of problem. So, all right, now I'm stuck in the desert. We've got another vehicle. I've got my guests and the dog with my car, but I have roadside assistance. That's a useful definition of problem variable in there. And I can get my vehicle towed, at least as far as Prim. And once we knew we had the tow truck on the way, then I was able to put them off in the other vehicle and send everyone ahead. Define the problem, solve the problem. Okay, that didn't work. Define the new problem, solve the new problem. Oh, that didn't work either. Define the problem, solve the new problem. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Now, think about how angry I could be, how stressed out I could be. Think about all of the fury and rage I could show up with over a situation like this. Think about all of the fear, all of the anxiety, all of the worry, all of the stress I could show up with over a situation like this. Imagine the despondency, the hopelessness I could show up with in a situation like this. Imagine even just thinking through to the worst case scenario. that I could do in a situation like this? Would that be useful? So long as I can keep shifting my focus, define the problem. What is the problem? Now solve the problem. Basically, it's doing word problems like we did in school, right? Where you look at the scenario, you figure, okay, what in here is the relevant information? Let me define my math problem in here, and now I can solve the problem. And just doing a real-world word problem. And doing this basic idea, not getting lost in worst-case scenarios, you just handle the situation in front of you. What is my next action? What is the current situation? What is my next action? What do I need to do right here, right now? And then you do it. You just handle it. And part of the beauty of it for me personally is throughout this entire process, all the way up to, let's see, where did we end up with a plan? I'm looking at my list here. Bum, 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 bum. I think I was at plan K. At plan K by the time my friends left town. So both couples got to watch me in real time to see whether or not I live what I teach. They got to watch me in real time, constantly in this endless stream, defining and redefining and understanding and gathering variables to define the problem, define the problem, define the problem, and then put in solution, put in solution, put in solution. And if a plan's not working, new plan. Oh, that plan's not working, okay, new plan. And just keep it going and keep it rolling. And they got to watch me do that. And they got to watch me do it in real time because like, they're actually there when I'm getting the news. They're there when stuff is happening. And so they get to see it's not like, oh, I rage for a while, I complain and I grumble for a while, I fall into despair for a while, but it's okay. And in a couple of hours, I kind of pull it together enough so that maybe I can kind of sort of do something that might maybe make a difference, and then I'll be upset about it until I find, well, it doesn't work. I mean, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up. And they got to watch it real time to see that, say, all right, I just have a shift in variables, so let's do something about it. What do we need to do next? How do I need to structure my next piece? How do I put together the next level solution? Now what do I do? Now what do I do? Now what do I do? Now I did give some thought to the worst case scenario. Now when you do worst case scenarios, the worst case scenario isn't as bad as it could possibly be. Like, oh, what if we're stranded in the desert forever and we shrivel up and we die out here? Okay, well that's really not all that likely. You're stalled out on the side of the road. I mean, even if there's no tow truck in the entire area and your car's just going to be stuck there, and the other vehicle wasn't even around, you could thumb a ride to someplace with air conditioning. Some passerby will be willing to do. Well, what if they're a serial killer? Well, what are the odds you're going to have 2 serial killers in the car at one time, right? Which was a joke if you missed it. But, you know, we could get a ride somewhere. More reasonably, the worst case scenario was I get the car all the way to Las Vegas and the car is just dead. It's not going to be worth fixing. Whatever it's going to cost to fix is going to be more than I'm willing and or able to pay. More likely it's going to hit the higher than I'm willing to pay to fix an old car like that before it gets to what I'm able. And say, well, what if I need more money? Well, I have people I can call. You know, even if I just call my mother and say, Mom, I'm in Las Vegas, I'm stuck, I need money. My mother would send me some money. I have some friends that would send me some money. And then I'd work to pay them back as quickly as I possibly could. But, you know, I have people who would be understanding of a scenario like that. And so I didn't have to really worry about that one too much. And I could just focus on define the problem, solve the problem, define the problem, solve the problem. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and just keep the chain of plans going. So another big piece, and again, my friends, my leaders, those who I serve, got to watch me do this in real time. Be here now. Be here now. Because we're going for a convention. Now, it's Sunday is when the convention starts, so my car's not even at the dealership. So I could let myself be completely distracted by, oh, you know, what's it going to cost? What's going to be the problem? Am I going to be able to get my car to the dealership? And it's Sunday night. We have opening ceremonies. We've got our speaker who is a fighter pilot. He's talking about being a wingman. We've got presentations going on. Lots of amazing stuff. And if I allow myself to be completely distracted, I could miss it. I could physically be there, and I could miss the demonstration. I could physically be there, I could miss the talk. I could physically be there, and I could miss the Lifetime Achievement Awards for Fumio Demura, who is one of the men I learned the most about the tonfa, or side-handle baton, and nunchucks from. This is the man I learned nunchaku from at a seminar in Clearwater, Florida, that I was also teaching at. And because we were both instructors, after attending his seminar, I was able to have some private time with him afterwards and get some more information, and get some more details, and get some more help. And I could have completely missed this man, this icon in martial arts, receiving his Lifetime Achievement Award by being physically present but not emotionally or intellectually present. Or worse, I could have allowed myself to be so distressed. Okay, now you guys go to the convention. I just can't, there's too much on my mind. Well, this is one of the primary purposes of going to Las Vegas, is this convention. That's why we're there in July. Otherwise, most people wouldn't want to go to Las Vegas in July because it's July, it's Las Vegas. But be here now means I show up, and while I am there, in that room, the fact that my car is sitting in some parking lot somewhere and is dead, and the other couple is piling us into their car and driving us around, isn't relevant. What's relevant is what this event is, what this event is for. Why am I here, and be here now? And then the next morning, we have seminars starting early in the morning. My car is not going to get moved before the first seminar in the morning. Now, I'm up and at 'em before 7 o'clock because there's a 7 a.m. seminar. Now, the other couple isn't planning on being there until 9. But one of the couples was at the evening before, at least, thinking about going to another icon of martial arts. Bill Wallace had a seminar at 7 in the morning for stretching and kicking, and I was ready to pay for an Uber to get the three of us down there to go do that. But you know, as long as the day before went, as late as it went, they opted not to. And I said, well, I'm not willing to spend the $15 just for myself to go. Because Bill and I have known each other for years. I even have a picture of him giving me a kiss on the cheek, which is kind of cute and funny. But and then it was part of his thing where he was talking to Cynthia Rothrock, and we were kind of joking around and clowning around a bit. And so we decided to pass on his seminar, so I went back to bed, and then we all went down together before 9 o'clock. And the seminars are now underway. As we're walking our way through the day, my car's still in the parking lot. I don't know when it's going to get picked up. I don't know when it's going to get moved yet. But you know, I'll deal with that periodically between the breaks. I'll get that taken care of. I don't have to miss my seminars. I ended up having one of the busiest, fullest convention days of my life, because they had the 5 regularly scheduled seminars, and they had another one that went on during lunch. And so I actually ended up attending 6 seminars that day. I didn't even take a lunch break. Boy, was I hungry at the end of my day. And I just went boom, 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 boom. But didn't even have a chance to see everybody that I would normally go out to see, because every time slot had 1 or more seminars that really interested me. And to be here now means I walk into that room for that seminar, and I am in that room for that seminar. I am fully present. I am focused on being there physically. I focus on being there in the soul, that I'm making my choices, I'm thinking my thoughts, I have the intention set. And being there spiritually, that's religion, principles, others, and the relevant parts is the others and the principles for this particular setting. I'm there in heart, that I have who I am focused on being present for this event, for what it is, so I can learn the things I'm here to learn and see the things I'm here to see, run into the people I intend to run into, and really connect with the moment. Took a while to get the car to the dealership. I've coordinated with the dealership. They know it's coming. I've done everything I can do with them over the phone, short of signing off on something. And we would swing in later and give them the key, and I would sign off on the last of the paperwork. But they had it all filled out for me. So handling what we can handle on the phone. Afterwards, we go handle that. So now I can be with the car situation. But to be here now, and for my leaders, my top leaders, to get to watch me be the example, define the problem, solve the problem. To be the example of be here now. And they get to watch that unfold in real time with a crisis as serious as my car is dead on the way to Las Vegas. As it unfolds a little bit more, it's another seminar day. Find out that they're probably not going to get a chance to really look at my car until at least Thursday. So now we're continuing to work our way down plans. Now we need to get a rental car for the rest of the trip, because my car is definitely not going to be fixed by the end of the day on Tuesday. So now we're on to the next plan and the next plan. So now we're renting a car, and obviously I'm not going to send the lawyers home driving my car. And so we coordinate so that we have me and Andrea on the rental so that she can drive the car. And we get all that taken care of so that come Saturday, when it's time for them to go home and I'm sticking around, that they have a reliable new car with good air conditioning that they can now drive home. And so we picked that up on Tuesday. Now, I had several vehicle options I could do. I chose one that ended up being more expensive because it was the best bet. So even though I knew I was spending about an extra $150 to rent it directly at the Bellagio, and if I had chopped around and we headed off and we went to the right location for the right company, I could have saved some money. But then we'd be gambling, because then I'd have to rely on all of us getting out of the seminars on time or catching an Uber, depending on how close it was or how far it was, and whether I had to do it by myself. But I need Andrea with me because we needed to give them her ID and get all that set up. And if I missed the closing time, we would have no car for the holiday, because all the cheaper places were going to be closed on the 4th of July. So we're like, okay, I'm just going to spend the money. I'm going to not take a chance. I'm not going to leave me and my guests stranded on the 4th of July. Just not going to do it. And so part of this process is to hold to your love, joy, and peace. To hold to your love, joy, and peace. Because these are my friends. I love my friends. I want to take good care of my friends. So I'm serving my friends. And I'm the leader. I have to be the example. If you want to be in charge, you got to be the example. Explain the example you're being. If you want to have the right to tell other people what to do, I believe you have the responsibility to show them the character with which you do things. Now, in this era of the knowledge worker, they may know more about their job than you do. And so you're not going to tell them how to do the job. Like if I'm running a business, I might be the owner of the business, but I might not know nearly as much about accounting as the accountant, and not know nearly as much about the law as the lawyer. But I'm still responsible to lead, to be the example. And I don't believe in one of those things that he who writes the checks makes the rules. I believe in you live the example. And you explain the example you're being. So you're not ever telling people, do as I say, not as I do. Because we're martial artists. A fundamental definition of a sensei, when you unpack it, is he who has walked the path and can show others the way. So fundamentally, at our first leadership rank, black belt, sensei, You have to be the example. And then, of course, my titles continue to stack on that. Renshi, I need to be comfortable with this chaos. Kiyoshi, I need to know and live the principles and the philosophy. And then Shihan, the master, the man of right action. I have to do this thing the right way. The correct way that will actually resolve the issues. And as you work your way through these archetypes, and they're not just titles, they're also archetypes. And then the Hanshi is a man of right character. Of, to not just do the thing, which you can do, grumbling and complaining and being distracted and all that stuff first, but to be it. And so part of that for me is to hold to your love, hold to your joy, and hold to your peace. Now here's how some of this unfolds. It begins with what's the right behavior. So who do you love? Now this one's big because very often people will start with it, well, who do you love? Who's most important? Well, my family, my husband, my wife, my kids, my good friends. Who do you love? Who's important to you? And then an unfortunate thing we have that goes on in so much of society is then they become your lawful target. Well, these are the people it's okay to yell at because they're family. They can't go anywhere. These are the people it's okay to take stuff out on. These are the people it's okay to yell at. These are the people it's okay to judge. These are the people it's okay to do an amateur diagnosis of mental illness. And think about what percentage of people have you known that do stuff like that? How many people have you known, like as an adult man or an adult woman, and you find out that they hit somebody, that they actually hit somebody, that they shoved somebody, that they screamed profanities at somebody? Would anybody in modern society be surprised to find out that this random person did it to a spouse, a boyfriend or girlfriend, one of their own kids? Would that be shocking? Unfortunately, that's not shocking in our society. What if you found out that they did it to their boss? What if you found out that they did it to an important customer? Now would you be shocked? Most people would be more shocked. Oh, that person's losing their job. But we don't think like, oh, they did it to their spouse. Oh, that person's losing their marriage. We might think the person's being a jerk. But we don't think that the relationship's going to end over that. And so that's part of the lawful target thing. But when you really think about who do you love, do you want to keep this relationship? If you're not going to take a chance on losing your job, why would you take it out on the people that are most important to you? That are more important to you than those other people? So you hold to your love. You figure, who do I love? And in support of that love, what is the best strategic behavior to both handle the current situation and support this love relationship that I have? This relationship with my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my kids, my close friends, my colleagues, whatever the relationship is in question. They come from a place not just of self-interest, but a place of like these people matter to you. What is a good behavior in support of that love relationship? Who do I serve? So if I'm in service to someone, if I'm in service to a company, I'm in service to the people that I'm teaching, as a servant leader, I'm actually in service to the people that I'm leading as well. But if you're representing someone, if you're representing, in this case, I'm representing my dojo, I'm representing my style, I'm representing my name, I have a reputation, I'm in a situation with my top leaders, this is going to affect my relationship with these people by how well I serve on this trip. Because I'm providing it. That's an act of service. I'm paying for it. That's an act of service. I'm arranging the accommodation. I'm arranging so many of these pieces as an act of service. I serve my team. To continue to serve my team well, what are the proper behaviors to make sure my team is well served? And then who do I lead? Now, the leadership role may not always apply. I believe in servant leader. So as a leader, I also serve those whom I lead. But the leadership has an additional burden. I have to also be the example. I have to show how you handle this kind of situation. I have to manifest in my behavior the principles I want them to manifest in their behavior when stuff goes wrong, when they're leading. So who do I love? Who do I serve? Who do I lead? And if you're a leader, you are serving those that you lead. So what's the behavior? What behaviors do I need to engage in? Well, of course, I need to make sure my team gets to the resort. I need to make sure we get to our seminars. I need to make sure that we get to attend the various events. So just on the behavioral level, it's pretty easy to figure out what I should do. If you sit down and say, okay, what's your strategy here? What actions are going to fulfill that? And the actions are okay, so what's your tactical approach to fulfill the strategic objectives as you kind of build this out so that you can really love well, serve well, lead well? Okay, well, that's the externals. The externals are relatively clear. Most people can figure that out just by sitting down and really thinking about it for just a short amount of time. But then here becomes the next level. This is part of why I say hold to your love, joy, and peace. These are internal things. These are things that rest in your spirit, in your heart. To hold to your love, joy, and peace in the middle of this kind of situation. So if I know the right behaviors, as a matter of personal integrity, would it be helpful if what I am doing on the inside lines up with what I'm doing on the outside? So basic integrity, integrity 101 is you do what you say. So you get your words and your actions to line up. Now we call that a very elementary, almost kindergarten level of integrity. I mean, literally we expect a kindergartner to be able to get the idea that if you say you're going to do it, do it. And if you say you did it, you've done it. A simpler thing is mom asks you, did you brush your teeth? If the answer is no, you say no. If the answer is yes, you say yes. You don't say yes if the answer is no. If you say you're going to go brush your teeth now, then you go brush your teeth now. You don't just say you're going to do it so that mom lays off and then not go brush your teeth. I expect kindergartners to get that. That's why do what you say and say that what you did lines up with integrity 101. But you take it to a higher level. Okay, to what level can I take this integrity into my soul, into my spirit, into my heart? Can I level this up? And part of this is the Triple E freedom technique. Positive counterpart, level it up, level it up, level it up, level it up. What's your agenda here? What are you trying to accomplish here? What internal process will best manifest this agenda? And for me, very often that's I hold to my love, I center in my love, I center in my joy, I center in my peace. Now I could have let all those things be disrupted, but I'm still serving my team. And I'm thinking, okay, coming from this place of really caring about these people, to still provide for them all the things I intended to provide for them. So behavior-wise, on the behavior level, I took him out to go see Incredibles 2, because we had a 3-year-old with us, so whatever show type entertainment thing we went to go see had to be appropriate for a 3-year-old and air-conditioned because it's July, it's Las Vegas. And so we went to go do that. I took him out to a buffet, so we went over to the Silverton for a buffet. And then later on, I took 2 of my very close friends, the lawyers. I love my friends. Took him up to a bar called Skyfall, where Joshua could get his vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. So the James Bond named place, get the classic James Bond drink, which is a great treat for him. And it's on the 64th floor of the Delano. Beautiful view, so it's a treat for Andrea. And so both of them get like different types of special event treats. And then we went out to a nice dinner together. We made kind of some side runs as we went, because one of the interesting things in this entire process is that they're also doing it. They have a friend who's a huge Michael Jackson fan. So we kind of pop into a place and they kind of take pictures at the Michael Jackson 1 boutique for their friend. We went in to go make a Costco run connected to going out to lunch, and I happen to know where Michael Jackson's old place, the Hacienda Palomino, is in Las Vegas, and so we drove by there just for an extra little treat for them to have to share with their friend. And that's showing up with love, not just supporting my direct connection with them, but their connection with somebody else. So they could then show their love for somebody else by saying, look, I was thinking about you when I was there. I know this is something you like. I went by Michael Jackson's place. We took some pictures because we were thinking of you. And just how cool that is. We went out and we had lunch with a controversial, iconic figure in martial arts. And, you know, and I covered our side of that. Doing all these things, being still centered in that place of love in the behavior choices, and of course sending them home with the rental car so that they have the good car to drive home in, and being able to give them some extended time so that way they didn't have to race home and immediately drop it off and go do all that running around, that they had a few extra days with the nice new car. And so part of the extra trick there is, okay, I got the behaviors. Now can I come from that right place? Can I get centered in my love so that I'm not doing it begrudgingly? I'm not doing it just because, well, I have to. Yeah, you know, I'm the business leader. I'm supposed to take care of my... But really to come centered in that place where I'm coming from that loving center of my heart. So that the things I want to share, building those memories, building those moments, that we got to, you know, that they got to sit at a Thai restaurant with 3 high-ranking senior masters who have 40, 50 years of martial arts experience and have been around the community for decades and decades and decades, and have a really great lunch that then they don't have to pay for. And to do that from a place of I want my people to have this experience. To be able to do something as amazing as take them up to the 64th floor of the Delano to this really high-end, expensive, admittedly, bar, because the extra expense of doing that is worth the experience I'm sharing with them. And all of these pieces, I'm building it up. And being centered in my joy. Now, what would be fun to do? Because while I was there, I had dates that I went on. I got together with Master Rondi, who's a friend of mine from North Carolina. Bellagio buffet. 4 hours after I was done at the Silverton buffet. I knew we were getting together for dinner, but she was out kayaking. And I finished my 4th plate at the Silverton. And I get a text. Bellagio buffet, 8 o'clock, okay? And I go, ah. And she's buying. I bought last year. She's buying this year. Okay, I'm not passing up the Bellagio buffet. So I said, sure. And I go, okay, I've got 4 hours to be ready for another buffet. And so when I was at Bellagio, I'm focusing on, okay, what am I only going to have at the Bellagio? And so I'm getting stuff like the caviar and the king crab legs. They have pre-sliced, so I don't have to crack it all open to figure that out. And just lots of like uniquely cool stuff that I'm not going to find at most places I go to. And I'm not going to probably want to pay for if I'm just at a regular restaurant. So that was a lot of fun. Could have missed that. Had a date day with another woman I only recently met. Had another date day with a woman that I'd run into a while ago. Went to see a show that a friend of mine was performing. And stay centered in my joy. Not just to do the things, but that they centered in my joy. All the way up to my very last day there, where I'm off and about, I'm seeing the volcanoes erupting at the Mirage, I'm seeing the Lake of Dreams show over the wind. Having a good time. Lingering at one of my favorite shops that I found out is going to be closing before I'm there again. Boy, am I glad I got that. It'd been kind of sad to Show up next year and said, they're gone? So, oh yeah, they closed in October. Like, I could have been here. But I was so busy being lost without my love, without my joy, I missed it. And so I'm staying centered in that. And then staying grounded in my peace. So I could be settled in my heart, settled in my spirit. A simple thing, if the pool area had been open 24 hours, I probably would have headed down to the jacuzzi after midnight several times. As it worked out, pool was closed by 10. And so, settled into a nice hot bath, candlelight, bath bomb, did the whole thing. To just kind of just relax. And being centered in my peace. And so I get to love the people I want to love. I get to have the joy over the things that I get to do. And I get to be at peace. So, of course, you know, Conway luck being Conway luck, it all works out, right? So, let's see. Where are we? Plan H. Car will take more time. Atchison's driving for convention. Rent car for a week. So, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they're driving. We found out that, okay, they're not even possibly going to get to the car until Thursday if they're able to repair it. So the earliest it's going to be fixed will be Thursday, and I'm certainly going to want to give the lawyers a nicer, more reliable car to drive home with. So that's the plan. Then plan I, that was plan I, is the lawyers take rental car home, and then I'll either Uber or I'll take shuttles while I'm still in town until my car's ready. Kind of figure my car's ready Monday or Tuesday, then I'm going to be fine. And I already had then Plan J ready to go. Plan J was if the car's going to need more time, if the car's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, then I'll rent a car until my car could be fixed. But then when I got the call, my car was dead. They said that it needs a new engine, $2,700 if nothing else is wrong. If we can just pull it and drop in a new one, $2,700. But you have to be ready for this to be an $8,000 job because the probability there's nothing else going on here is remote. So, blew right past Plan J, landed on Plan K. Plan K was to rent a car to drive home and then handle the car situation at home later. So I figured, all right, I'm going to send the lawyers home Saturday, Sunday. They opted for Saturday in the evening. And I thought, okay, well, then on Sunday, I'll just kind of hang out, maybe see a friend who has a car that they can come pick me up, maybe take an Uber to go see the show that I was interested in seeing, and then on Monday, I'll rent a car. Well, then my friend shows up, and he's going to be leaving town. So he says, well, do you want to just borrow my car while I'm out of town? I'll loan you my car while I'm out of town. That way you don't have to spend the money to rent it. Boom. Just saved a couple of $100. And as it turned out, periodically over the last year or so, he's been trying to sell this car. And the amount he wants to sell the car for just happens to be just within the amount of money that I happen to have. Now, he wanted to sell the car for more, but he's cutting it down by like 20, he's knocking out like 25% for me to bring it within my budget. And that's going to be a deal. The car is mechanically pretty sound. It's got maybe $1,000 of work that needs to go into it on non-mechanical issues. And we'll get to that. And so I ended up on Plan L, buy a car in Las Vegas. What wasn't my original plan. Wasn't even my worst case scenario plan. But now I'm on Plan L. While I'm still in Las Vegas, I get a call from my business coach. Now, she doesn't know that I'm on Plan L. She says, all right, when I come to town, get ready for Plan M for money. That I'm going to have to help you get the money to be able to do what you need to do. And I said, well, it turns out I'm buying a car. Well, tell me about it. Told her about the car. It says, all right, so you need about $1,000 to get this car up to speed. All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. And so she puts together this program using my intellectual property that then she sells to her people. And next week, I'm going to have between $600 and $900, probably more like $900, from her sales on a deliverable that I could do in my sleep. It's based on the Ohana way. And so we're going to be talking about oasis and harmony and assertiveness and nobility and aloha. And I could be half asleep and still deliver on that. And now I've got a handful of paying clients, and I'm going to be getting enough money on this to at least get started and possibly completely pay for all the stuff I want to do in the new car at Plan M. Already. Now, she's not even in town yet. She's coming in town because she's meeting with her business coach. And so when she shows up in town Tuesday and Thursday, she's working with her coach. And she's asked me if I could get clear on Monday and Wednesday, and then she'll work with me on Plan M. And already, she's not even here yet, and we already have the money coming together to get started on and possibly finish all of the things I need to do in the car. Because I have a mechanic that does good work inexpensively. All of it's coming together. Now here's an interesting thing to consider. So here I am right now. This problem started a little over 2 weeks ago. And it's all coming together. I have a car sitting out in the parking lot. I've got a mechanic who's already taking a quick look at the car. He's kind of excited about working on this. I've got a business coach coming in a week from tomorrow, and we're going to meet to go over stuff to make some more money on top of it, while the money just she is already making me is already going to cover the beginning and possibly the entire thing, depending how inexpensively my mechanic can find ways to pull it off. That sounds like a reason that right now, am I in a place to be here now? Right now, am I in a place to be grounded in my love, my joy, and my peace, which together we call being grounded in my bliss? Now I am, right? A couple of weeks later. But did I have an excuse to get lost in the problem? For a while, I did. Did I have an excuse to get distracted by everything and to miss stuff? I did. Did I have an excuse to become ungrounded from my love, ungrounded from my joy, and ungrounded from my peace? For a week or two, I did. But now here I am, again amongst people I love, people who are important to me, people I connect with a car sitting in the parking lot. It's pretty solid and reliable. With people who can cover classes for me on Monday and Wednesday so that I can spend time with the coach working on Plan M. Things are really looking up, aren't they? So here's a question. How much of the last 2 weeks would I have wanted to lose, to miss, just to get to this place where everything's okay again? Or do I just want to assume that I keep running Plan A, Plan B, Plan C? Eventually, one of the plans is going to work. And while I'm working on getting the plans to work, I'm in Las Vegas. I got volcanoes that are going to erupt. I've got fountain shows to go see. I've got a conservatory at the Bellagio that is just stunning. Chihuly sculptures or glasswork to go see. Galleries to go explore. Rare books to go look at. I love that shop. People that I really want to connect with in deep and intimate and powerful ways. And even in funny ways. Because I have one woman that the first time she and I dated was a double date with a performer in Las Vegas. The second time she and I went on a date in Las Vegas, we went to go see his show so she could see what he actually does. So this was our third date in Las Vegas. Guess who happens to be on a dinner date at the exact same restaurant at the exact same time? The same guy! It's amazing. It's so entertaining, just for the story parts of it. It's so much fun. But that's my life. The things I get to go do, the things I get to go see, the experience I get to share, the experiences I get to have. I could have missed it. I could have spent 2 weeks missing it, only to have it all work out in the end anyway. So how about I just skip the missing it part? How about I just ground myself in define the problem, solve the problem? How about I just ground myself in be here now? How about I stay centered in my love, centered in my joy, centered in my peace, and I just have a great time? To have this time where I stay intimately connected with what this trip is for, instead of reject all of the stuff that it's about. And I could have spent the time and spent the money and all the stuff that's necessary to be able to be out of town and take a team out of town, and that investment of time and effort and then that investment of cash and resources, I could have missed it. I could have emotionally missed it. I could have intellectually missed it. I could have failed to choose to really have this great time. Now, do I do this 100%? Absolutely not. I wish I did. Because I'll tell you, this was one of those times I got it pretty darn right. Don't do it 100%. One of the things I really don't handle well is the no-win scenario. I don't do no-win scenarios very well. I may be about 80% able to handle no-win scenarios okay. If you want to see me be really emotionally messed up, watch me trying to deal with a no-win scenario. That's when you're most likely to see it. Most day-to-day life stuff like this, where you can define the problem and solve the problem, where there's a purpose going on, there's people to connect with, there's an event to attend, and you know, there's all of the stuff connected to it. Maybe 99%. But for some of us, even doing it once, the first time you do it, go, whoa, that was pretty awesome. I got to the end of a situation, and now it's okay, and I didn't let the in-between time mess me up. That gets to be pretty awesome. Then you want to do it again. And then you want to do it again. Then you want to make it a habit. So life is going to have problems. With the kids, you ask my kid students, ask them, how do you know if a married couple has marriage problems? The kids know the answer to that, because they're married. Everybody has problems. Every married couple has problems. Now here's the thing. The extent to which those problems impact the relationship depends upon the extent to which they show up at the problems as partners or they show up at the problem as opponents. If they show up at the problems as partners, they will hardly even notice they have problems. If they show up with the problems as opponents, oh boy, will they know they have problems. And the problems will be doing damage to their relationship. Same thing like, how many parents have parenting problems with their kids? And they know, all of them. You can tell because they're parents. If they're parents, they have parenting problems. But again, the extent to which they know or they feel the problem part depends upon how much you show up at the problems as partners and how much you show up at the problems as opponents. Does the problem become a weapon you use to beat up one of the partners? Or is the problem something you partner together to solve? So life has problems. There are things where you have to make new decisions as you go. There's always going to be situations you have to define the problem. Figure out what is the actual problem. You can find the problem by finding where the solution is. If there is no solution, that's not the problem. That's a fact of life. Where you can find that place, you can do an intervention, where you can do a behavior, you can engage in some way, shape, or form to create a change. That's where the problem is, because the problem, by definition, requires a solution. So for a lot of people, defining the problem is really their problem. that they want to define the problem as a fact of life. They want to blame. Well, okay, but blaming means, okay, I abdicate all responsibility and all power. You fix it. That my exercise of this authority is to make you fix it. Well, that's not a very powerful position to be in. I hate that position. Where there's nothing I can do, only someone else has to do. I like power over my own life. That's me. A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to abdicate power over their own life. I am not one of those, because having no say over my own life really kind of bothers me. So I like to find the problem, because the problem means there's a solution in here. There's something I can do where I can create the change. That's why I know my problem is never the thing that happened in my past, because I can't change anything in my past. The problem is, how do I cope now with the thing that happened in my past? So you're looking for the problem, so you can solve the problem. And the be here now. Does the here now have a purpose? Good, be here now for that purpose. And this can be enormously powerful. There was a married couple on the edge of divorce, and they had a wedding to go to. Their daughter was getting married. And one of the questions they had was, well, how do we go to this wedding and just pretend everything's okay? And I said, you don't. Because things aren't okay. You don't have to pretend. What you need to do is show up at the wedding, for your daughter. Do you love your daughter? Yes. Do you love your daughter? Yes. Okay. Be there for your daughter. All of this stuff, later. Come back after the wedding, we can talk. But you have a wedding to attend. Be there because you love your daughter. Love your daughter. Be at the wedding because it's your daughter's wedding. Be at a wedding. Be there for what it is. Let the now be the now. It's all about your daughter. It's all about the wedding. When you come home, we can handle the other stuff. Well, here was the interesting thing. Once they set aside all of that other chaos, and they really centered themselves for their daughter. Well, I love my daughter. You love your daughter. Does that make us partners or opponents? So they show up at the wedding as partners. It's their daughter's wedding. They want to be supportive of their daughter. Partners or opponents. Now they're doing the partner thing again. And it's a wedding. It's a celebration of love. It's a celebration of joy. So guess what emotions they're grounded in? Their love and their joy. Once they got to the other end of the wedding, just by doing the be here now, they figured out all this other stuff we're fighting over is really not all that important. We can handle that. They didn't even need to come in for another session. Instead, they told us, you know, we're actually doing okay. We really are. And I got the explanation. Like, all right, fantastic. And so, yeah, sometimes we just forget. And we just kind of forgot. We let the problem be the center of our relationship, and we were using the problem against each other. We're really, our love and our joy and our family is the center of our relationship, and together we can solve that stuff. We don't need to come in for another session. And that was, I don't know, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and they're doing fine. And all they really needed was a week of be here now, being the mother of the bride, being the father of the bride. And then they realize in and of themselves, if I am here, and I can look at the problems more objectively, and I can stay grounded in love, joy, and peace, suddenly it puts everything in perspective. This whole set is interactive. It's really pretty cool. And you just keep gathering your information and work with what you got. And to think about how cool this is. That was really cool to me that this happened to me. And I got to be the example. And that people get to watch in real time. And those who are following me on social media were seeing parts of it unfolding. Now the social media question is always, okay, I see what you're posting and what you're talking about later. But, you know, seriously, how upset were you as it was going on? How long did it take you to get kind of settled down enough where you can actually start working out your plan B? How long did it take you to kind of, get in the groove of doing the thing? You really did want to just like skip, didn't you? No, not really. And I had other leaders, some of which I've been connected with for over a decade, some of which considerably less, but who are friends, who got to watch this unfold in real time, got to watch the choices I made, how I kept to my promises, how I did the things I said I would do, even though. And they got to watch it unfold in real time. And they got to see that I really did do it. I nailed it this time. I may not nail it all the time, but I nailed it this time. I would like to nail it all the time. If I can do all the time as well as I did this time, I'd say I have it going pretty well. But driving to Las Vegas, plan A. And then a plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, plan G, plan H, plan I, blew right past J to K. And my friends know I'm focused on taking care of my friends. My leaders get to watch an example of the leadership. They get to watch an example of loving people. They get to watch an example of being grounded in joy. They get to see an example of staying in a peaceful state in the middle of this chaos. So I'm doing my job as leader, making sure they get all the things they need to get at a behavior level, doing my job serving them, and not taking the problems out on anybody. So they get to see me show up with love. And they get to watch me have my couple of week vacation with love, joy, and peace. And still enjoy my trip. So how about all of us? Husbands, wives, parents, with our kids, leaders with your team, teachers with your students, seniors with their juniors. Can any of us do this? Yes, we can. Any of us can. Do you want to? I suspect you probably want to. It is an awesome way to live life. It can be challenging to develop the habit in the first place. Starts with an ideal, an aspiration. Starts with doing it maybe 20 to 50%, working your way up to 80% on a given individual thing. It'd be like if on this trip, if I spent half the time upset, but half the time I kind of got settled in. And I'd be doing it about 50-50. Until you kind of really got it going for you. Might take some practice. Oh, but it is so worth it. Because I've got a great life. I love my life. I get to live my life immersively and vividly. May as well have more fun along the way, right? I do a pretty good job. Not a perfect job, but an ever better job. And I would encourage you, if it sounds like a great way to live to you, take your first steps in that direction. Start to develop those habits. It might take you a day. You might have this nailed tomorrow already. It might take you weeks, months, or even years. Regardless, it's worth the process. I mean, earning a black belt takes 4 to 6 years. It could take 8 to 10 years depending on your style. Earning a bachelor's degree takes 4 years. Getting a high school diploma from your 9th grade to 12th grade takes 4 years. We do things in these years, blocks of times already. This one is so worth it because this is quality of life stuff. So that's what I got to do. That was my little adventure. And as it ends, I've got my BMW Z3, a cute used sports car coupe sitting in the parking lot. I'm already running around San Diego with it yesterday to go teach at the Blind Community Center for my friends, because in part of loving my friends, being highly supportive of this whole surf adventure that's going on, trying to get him to Hawaii to compete at Dukes in Hawaii. Don't know if we're necessarily going to make that, but boy, are we working it. He's won a place on the national team. There's a documentary being filmed of him. So, you know, got to be supportive of that. So when to teach the class, to give them the settled freedom to know that your friend who loves you is looking out for you. I've got your back. I've got a handle. I'll take care of it. So much awesome going on in life. So much opportunity to show love. So much opportunity to live, enjoy. It's a good life. It's well worth doing. And I hope that any of you who decide to do it can just pick up on the simple, basic ideas. Define the problem, solve the problem. Be here now. Stay centered and grounded in your love, your joy, and your peace. There's a lot of tools to enable you to do that. And running my plans A through M was an opportunity for me to manifest in my behavior, in my attitudes, in my own heart, the things that I teach. To be able to show that this isn't just some idealist pie in the sky, nobody can actually do this thing, but to be able to role model it, to show it is possible, can be done. Takes a bit of habit building to get to it, but you could do it too, if this is something that you think sounds worth doing, and a life that you think sounds worth living.